So when I started at DNRC, our current system was new and exciting at the time. But after about 15 years, what we have now, our old system is probably pretty common for a state government accounting system. It's older, it's working, and many users are comfortable with it, but it's pretty inefficient both for data management and for our front-end users. We didn't have any spatial representation of our land management footprint that was easily tied or accessible to our revenue information. Next slide.
There we go.
And like other Western states, Montana has trust lands that generate revenue for schools and other beneficiaries. In Montana, we have about 5 million surface acres and about 6 million subsurface acres of ownership, and it's spread throughout the state. I'm specifically focused on forest management, and that includes about 800,000 acres of the surface ownership that we have. Some other important features that will come up when we talk about our data challenges are miles of road that we track and stream information. Those are just two examples of spatial information that's really valuable for us here at the department. Next slide. There are a number of areas where we thought we really could improve, sort of dependent on what data we were looking at. But for example, like most large forest owners, we've been challenged to keep reliable and updated information on our scattered lands that have a whole variety of forest types. As everyone knows, trees are growing, we're managing some acres, there are wildfires, nothing is static out there. For the data we do have, both from our own sources and external sources, there are some challenges to how we consume it. We can't expect all our users to be GIS experts, and there's almost so much information that integrating it becomes a little bit overwhelming. Next slide. So we boiled it down to basically 3 goals. To first define what we have, second, to integrate our various data sources, and thirdly, to find ways to effectively consume that valuable information. Next slide. Under that umbrella, we have a lot going on. And just a side note, I'm not a GIS data person, so I'll do my best to kind of summarize. We're using ArcGIS Online to manage our data. We have our field folks using the Collector app from Esri, and some other tools that they use on iPads to collect information in the field. And we've tried to look ahead to the best way to store all of that data because of the high volume and constantly updating nature of it. So for example, next slide, please. This is some of our data that we're talking about. The first 4 bullets are the information that we were managing in our old system called the Trust Land Management System. There are thousands of customers, thousands of tracts of land, many contracts, and thousands of receipts. About 30 to 40,000 receipts come in each year into this system. And then on top of that, we have millions of spatial records. So those are the layers of parcels, roads, streams, forest stands, management units, and other delineations of activities that we're doing out there. The current system we have tracks the revenue from all land management activities. So in addition to the forest management, our Trust Lands division houses activities under different bureaus. So we've got ag and grazing, we've got minerals, we've got real estate. And then the TLMS system also serves the entire department for our deposits. So every payment coming into the Department of Natural Resources goes into the TLMS system to track that money. And we just have the other divisions listed there in that second to last bullet: Forestry Division, Water Resource Division, Conservation and Resource Development Divisions. And then lastly, the last bullet, just wanted to mention we have that spatial data coming in from the field users that we want to integrate with all this other information that we're already tracking. So to summarize, just many data users, a whole variety of needs. And let's move to the next slide, please. What we really wanted was to meet those needs with an integrated system that helps staff and eventually the public access all the data that they need. We want to keep the data up to date, deliver information quickly, and have it be widely available. So basically, just to put all that growing spatial data together with all the accounting data and serve it up to users in a clean way. Next slide. And we knew that we couldn't necessarily do that alone. So some things we understood from the beginning were internal questions that might be different for other organizations, what we could do internally, and then where we needed help. I think we recognize that the environment is constantly changing. Technology changes rapidly. We might get new policies, and of course, personnel turns over. So all of these influenced our direction for the project. Next slide. Let's see. Jumping ahead, we're now in the midst of this project of what Em and I are kind of discussing today some more. This is how we're getting what we want. What we did was break a big, long project into relatively bite-sized pieces. The TLMS 2.0 project is 4 phases over 4 years, and it has a price tag of $2.5 million. But the first phase is what we've called the minimum viable product, and we recently completed it, and now we're using it. It's live. And that first phase included financials and force management, but maybe less obvious to the user is all of the infrastructure to support the system. Phase 2 is in development now, and we have several more phases lined out. Let's go ahead and look at a quick timeline of this TLMS 2.0. So back in 2016 and 2017, we knew we needed to update our information system, and we started with a business analysis. We wanted to clarify and document our business needs before moving into development. The procurement process, I'm going to kind of breeze over that. We followed our state's process to request a proposal and eventually contracted with Sitka to do a business analysis. In 2018 and 2019, we took the results from the business analysis and issued a request for proposals for the new information system itself. And again, the contract was awarded to Sitka, and we started development work. And now here we are in 2020. TLMS 2.0, as I mentioned, is live. The time that's being spent now in the system is spent on user support, incorporating feedback, and a few bug fixes. And then concurrently, the development side is continuing. So Sitka is building the next phase of the project with real estate and more finance components, and that'll be rolled in when it's released to what we already have live. So with that, I think we're going to get into some more of the details about development, and I'll hand it off to Emma.